Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back to a naval battle on Napoleon Total War. This is awesome. I have not really been the biggest fan of naval battles for years now, and it's only really recently, since Apollo has kind of been convincing me to play them, I've really come to realize how awesome they actually are and how much strategy goes into doing them well. You can play a naval battle and just have the basic sense of I'm going to put my ship sideways on and we're going to shoot at each other and duke it out. But then if you want to take it to the next step, you can really start to maneuver using the wind, using different tactics, which I'm going to start trying to show in these battles where I want to do more naval battles, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. If you are, please do drop a like and a comment down below if you want to see more naval battles, and even if you don't and you've just clicked on this video, do give these battles a chance because they are actually really awesome, and I want to show off them being as cool as they are, because I feel like naval battles are definitely neglected a lot more than let's say land battles. You never really see naval battles whatsoever, so let's try and make naval battles great again. So I am playing a 1v1 this time. I also have a 2v2 battle as well, which we'll be seeing maybe sometime this week as well. So we'll start off by taking a look at my forces playing as Great Britain, and we are up against another superpower as one of my friends plays as the Spanish. So we'll start off with my front ships. We have the HMS Hector with 122 guns. This is a heavy first-rate ship and it is leading the fleet forward. It should be glorious. It's also my admiral as well, is currently stationed on the HMS Hector, so that's going to be a very strong ship. Behind that we have the HMS Vengeance, 106 first rate, so a bit smaller than my flagship but still very good nonetheless. Keeping on going back, we have the HMS Resistance, another 106 gun first rate, the HMS Exeter, which again is another first rate 100 gun ship, the HMS Fox, an 80 gun third rate ship, and then finally on my back line I have the HMS Edinburgh, 80 gun third rate ship. That's going to be my main battle line. Then on my right hand side we have the HMS Surprise, an 80 gun third rate ship. We also have the HMS St. Alaband, a 64 gun ship, and then two other 64 gun ships back here, and then finally a much smaller ship a little bit further back. So that is my fleet, a pretty nice armada I've got going for me. I'm splitting them up into two sections. This far right fleet is more of a distraction fleet, and then on the far left I have my kind of heavy hard hitting fleet, which I want to try and encircle the enemy with. If we look at the Spanish fleet, we can see that on their front line they have a few 64 gun ships. That's going to be holding down their right flank with another 64 gun ship there. Yeah, a whole ton. Like, I think we've got 7 64 gun ships over here, or even more than that. And we finally get to a 122 gun ship, which is just an absolute monster for the Spanish ships. A few more of their heavier mounted ones. So they kind of have a lot less heavy ships but a lot more like smaller ships to try and, I guess, just hit me with sheer numbers of cannons firing. They obviously also have the Santorisimo Trinidad, the huge 140 gun Spanish ship. This thing is just a monster. It really does get stuck in and do so much goddamn damage, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Luckily I am sailing into the wind, so I'm gonna be using that to my advantage as we get this battle underway. So yeah, as I said, I'm sailing into the wind, so I'm gonna be trying to use that as best I can by outmaneuvering my enemy in these lines. My opponent has kind of done a tactic I probably used to use myself very often, by staying very stationary and literally just turning my ships to the side so they can use their guns. Now that is a good idea if I'm not moving, but because I'm going into the wind, I can kind of really use my ships to outmaneuver, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do as we see the HMS Hector turning left, and hopefully we'll get the look of a first volley that the HMS Hector does send out very soon. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to be trying to just encircle my enemy from both sides, using the wind to my advantage to spread out the amount of damage coming my way. Because I'm always on the move, it means that his ships find it very hard to focus my one ship and destroy that, whereas because my opponent is very stationary, as we can see, he's against the wind, he's very slow at the moment. It means I can just, constantly move my ships round his, constantly shooting, picking off a few of his smaller ships and just using the movement to my advantage. And that's something I think I only recently started learning since I got back into the naval battles, that it is 10 times better to keep on moving, keep your ships going, and trying to use the wind as best as possible. You can see my first volley is very much getting ready to be shot. I'm excited to see the 71 guns shooting on this side. A perfect first shot. Obviously, it's very long range, so we're not going to be doing a bunch of damage. However, we're going to be finding a few marks off on this Rayo, the 64-gun ship for the Spanish. And if I was my opponent right now, because I am going against the wind, you can see he's got another shot off as well. If I was playing as the Spanish, I would be using the wind to kind of cut me off here, stop me from encircling, because what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be using the HMS Hector and the rest of my ship line on this left-hand side just to simply move round and move back into the wind, using all my guns to constantly be shooting at the enemy line and then just move, you know, into the wind. If I was playing as the Spanish, even though, because I'm going against the wind if I go straight, I would head eastwards right now, cut me off, prevent me from really using the wind, and then just, you know, keep going along eastwards and trying to cut me off that way. He has a lot of smaller ships as well, so again, something he could have easily have done is just taken his entire fleet and cut off one of my lines. You know, maybe just moved westwards with his entire army or his entire fleet, and then just pushed me off here. You can see that I also have a few of my smaller ships starting off the battle. The HMS Surprise getting some good shots off on this huge 122-gun Spanish ship right here, ship of the line. The Spanish ship of the line is going to be turning around, and the Spanish can start using this to their advantage. They can start matching me with their own ships right now and start using the wind. They can start heading southwards as I'm starting to curve round using the wind to my advantage. So the Spanish can kind of, you know, retake back the battle itself and use, you know, the Trinidad and the other ship of the line just to hit me off here. You can see another shot coming off here. 122 guns, or I guess it's 71 guns. Coming up, oh no, sorry, 661 guns, 71. I don't know where I got them BTEC maths from. And the HMS Surprise is going to be struggling, but as long as the HMS Surprise does its job and it absorbs fire, keeps these huge ships busy, whilst I'm dealing with all these smaller 64 gun ships, and that's all I really need them to. And again, you can see that how much that maneuverability is coming into my side right now. We are just hammering their ships, and they're stuck in the water right now. They're finally starting to use the wind to their advantage, but by the time they turn to me, I'm getting so many shots off on them, and they're having to, you know, slowly get pot shots off, and my ships are constantly moving. That the ship that they were originally shooting at just really isn't hurting whatsoever. The sails are finally going up as the Spanish do get their way into the wind, but you can already see my cannon shots just finding huge hits off on the lines. I also have a Darthmod naval battle, which you might have seen on Apollo's channel already, and in that you see a lot more smoke. In this one, there's barely any smoke whatsoever, which does kind of suck, because that's kind of one of my favorite things, is just seeing the sheer amount of smoke just rising up in the battlefield. As we can see some more shots from my bigger ship just going off right there. We'll also slow off the camera a little bit as well, so we can fully watch these guys go at it. I mean, that just looks so epic. Look at that. And in Darthmod, it looks 10 times better. I also saw on in Apollo's comments, Emperor of the Great Unknown was telling us to play another ship mod as well, which apparently adds in a ton more navies, which will be great to see as well. So expect plenty more cinematic battles like this, just with a lot more smoke to add tons more atmosphere. This was just a nice easy one to ease you guys into it. So we can see that this Spanish ship right here is getting smashed. This 64 ship of the line is being hammered by like 4 of my ships right now. And all 4 of my big ships, we have the 100, we have the HMS Hector, we have the HMS Vengeance, the HMS Resistance, and this HMS Exeter, just all pinning down this one Spanish ship of the line, which is one of the reasons having this mobility is really helping me out. This Spanish ship of the line does not stand a chance right now. It's being hammered by like at least 200 cannons, and you can already see it is starting to rout from the battlefield. And if we look at my HP on my ships, you can see I've barely taken any damage, mainly because the Spanish ships are so stationary, but also because I've just managed to spread out the damage. You know, the hits from these cannons, the ones which are actually shooting me, you know, are having to change targets constantly. You know, no longer the HMS Hector is no longer getting hit, and I can completely move my battle line right around the flank. However, my far right flank is not doing so good. I am getting destroyed by the bigger Spanish ships of the line. And obviously the Trinidad as well is just a monster. You can see it has 140 cannons on it, and it is just going to be destroying my smaller ships. But again, they've done their job at slowing up the enemy ships, causing them to focus down these 4 smaller ships, whilst I just put down the hurt on this bigger navy right here. Oh, we just got a massive hit right there. The HMS St. Alban is going to be retreating, I think. Yeah, it cannot withstand the fire, and so is the HMS Surprise as well. It's going to be falling back. We only have this HMS Cirrus left and another ship. It's going to be getting some more shots off, and I mean, we are also wounding a bit of the St. Trisimo as well. We've managed to get it down to 124 guns on this side. I mean, it still has as much as my biggest ship right now, so, you know, but, you know, every single cannonball, every single cannon we destroy is going to be really useful, and I'm going to be enjoying it. You know, every single time we can just destroy a cannon, that's going to be helping me out. And we've also actually managed to set a fire, which has just been put out by the Spanish crew. So, overall, not too bad. Are they repairing right now? I think they might be repairing pretty soon. Yeah, they're also shooting the HMS Surprise as it does try to retreat. And the Spanish are finally starting to go into the winds now. Are we going to get the rest of the cannons coming in here? Let's zoom in. I want to see. I think they're just a bit too far off now. Yeah, so these ships are going to be moving over, trying to hit the HMS Frolic as well. And my main ships are starting to move around. So this entire time, I've managed to use the wind to outmaneuver my enemy. I've managed to destroy 4 of his ships while spreading out the damage on all of mine. And I'm starting to close in on his bigger ships now, which is really what I want to do. I have to be very careful because obviously now we're getting into range of the 122 gun ships who can shoot on both broadsides at me, because they can shoot their broadsides at my English ships here, and they can shoot their broadsides on my English ships over here coming in. So I do have to be very careful. Luckily, I have this sinking British ship, which is going to make it hard for my enemy to move. And also, my enemy has also just decided to start going out of the wind, which is going to be very risky. As we see another pretty close, you know, exchange of broadsides right here. Obviously, his ship of the line is coming up big. But as I've mentioned throughout this replay, I'm not needing these smaller ships to do much. Just, you know, lower the amount of guns the enemy has. We can also see the St. Trisimo as well is actually starting, or Trinidad, sorry, is starting to actually lower, to repair. Which means it's a perfect target for my Admiral, the HMS Hector, to lower its sails, start going into the wind again, and start shooting at the enemy ships whilst they do repair, because they are just stationary. You can see my ship is actually just sinking now. Everyone is abandoning crew. Or abandoning ship, I should say. And we are about to get another broadside from the HMS Hector very, very soon. We can see that I'm aiming it up right now, just waiting for it to come in, as the rest of my main ship line is just continuing to kind of use the wind. And I'm going to be turning into the wind as well to give me a bit more maneuverability. You can see a lot of my ships, though, are starting to sink. The HMS Cirrus is about to go down. Another volley going off. I think we were just about out of effective range. However, we still got to manage to get a few good shots off on the St. Trisimo. So that is good. Sorry, I'm butchering this Spanish pronunciation. I'm just going to call it the St. Trinidad. I think that's much easier for me. I do apologise in advance. So if we take a little glimpse of the battle itself, we can see that we have my main English line coming in. We still have a few rogue ships as well. And the Spanish are definitely losing ships. They're starting to finally bring over their reinforcement 64 ship of the line guns, which are going to be helping them out. But at the moment, I am just unleashing a hellstorm of cannon fire right now. Just hammering these bigger ships with my own ships themselves. You can see the English line, because I'm going more into the wind, you can see I'm shooting and then turning off a little bit, using the wind to my advantage, using that speed to help me out as much as possible. Just spread the damage on my ship so that my Admiral is no longer taking shots because he's just too fast and he's managed to completely outmaneuver the enemy ships. And because of that, he can kind of carry on moving on, loading his guns, and then the next ship can fire, and then the next ship can fire, and the next one. Whereas these Spanish ships do seem to be a lot more stuck in the water as another volley, or broadside I should call it, just comes in. And with the FOV on, these battles just look so awesome in the distance. And don't worry guys, with the Darthmod and the amount of smoke that produces, these battles just become so hectic, and you just don't know what is going on whatsoever. So we'll keep on board with the HMS Hector as it does start to get another broadside off, and we're starting to get into really good range. And look at the fire just pouring in from my ships. As soon as I start curving round and more of these ships can start getting into range and opening up on these small kind of cluster the Spanish have made for themselves. We'll have the HMS Hector, Vengeance, the HMS Resistance, and the Exeter, 4 of my biggest ships, all opening up on one of the Spanish ships. I also feel a bit sorry for this smaller one here as well. You can see I am just completely hammering the Spanish line. They do still have obviously their big ships firing back, doing damage, and I've obviously completely lost my right flank as well, which is a bit risky. And if I am planning to turn right here to continue my circle, then that is going to put me out of the wind. So I am kind of sailing into a bad position, I would say, because there's nowhere really I can sail, I think, to be super effective. If I go more rightwards, I'm going to go out of the wind. So I guess my best bet here would be to turn southwards and just come back eastwards and try and just, you know, loop round, because having the wind on my side is, you know, the main reason I've got the advantage in this battle so far, especially against the strong Spanish ships of that 140 gun ship of the line. Oh, this is so awesome, and the Spanish ships are starting to feel it, as we just have the HMS Sirius just sinking here. The sailors are pleading for their lives, hoping that a rowboat will come pick them up. The Spanish ship of the line is now on fire. They could transform it into a fire ship, try and crash it into the HMS Exeter. That could be a smart move. Oh, another shot going off. What a perfect kind of position I've got myself in here. I'm hitting this ship of the line and this other Spanish ship of the line as well, all at once. And now I've got my entire navy, what remains of my navy, left just completely surrounding the enemy, shooting. And I think this is where I make a mistake. I've got the advantage right now. There's no reason for me to lose my maneuverability by sailing out against the wind. Now, I don't really know the proper tactic here. Maybe some more of you naval proficient people can tell me what would be the best thing to do right here. I personally think maybe what I should have done is just turn southwards and come back around. Now, that does stop, like, kind of slow my guns up quite a lot, but it also, again, spaces out the damage, because at the moment you can see, oh, we get another beautiful broadside from the HMS Hector. You can see that my right side of my ship has been taking quite a pounding. If I was to turn southwards and then go eastwards, it'd be the other side of my ship taking the hitting. So I think that would have been the best idea. The best strategy for me was just to turn southwards and to turn, instead of turning eastwards, which is what I'm doing. This is the way to get most of my guns to bear. But I think in a longer battle, which again Darthmod does provide much longer battles, I think this would have been a smarter idea to do. Let's get a nice little view down my line of the Great British ships, as we are simply just circling our prey right now. We can see the HMS Resistance in the background as well. We are literally just circling our prey as we come round. I mean, the Spanish were always set dead in the water, and there's nothing against my opponent whatsoever. You know, not many people play naval battles, and I don't think people... and obviously my opponent wasn't taking this too seriously. We were simply just having some fun. But I think it was just a cool, you know, cinematic battle we could watch. And hopefully it gets you guys excited for more strategic battles, larger naval battles as well, where we have 2v2s and 3v3s. I think that'll be a hell of a lot of fun, for sure, especially in Darthmod and this other mod as well. I can't remember what the name of the Napoleon mod is, but it's literally just for ships, so we can get some really exciting gameplay going on. Yeah, you can see I'm starting to turn rounds now, which is just, it just seems really bad by me. There's actually no boarding going on, I think, as well. So we get another hit coming in. Look at all these guns I've just got coming in onto the Spanish ships. One of my ships has actually been routed. A few of the 64 gun ship of the lines for the Spanish have managed to actually push me back and actually break some of my flanking ships, which have managed to make it around my flank. This is to kind of be expected because it allows the Spanish to use both sides of their ship to hit me. I have managed to actually route a bigger gunboat. Oh my god, this Spanish ship of the line, 122 gun ship of the line, has lost 10 or pretty much all of its cannons bar 10. That is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive indeed. And the Centrisimo is just destroying the HMS Surprise, who actually came back from routing, which is very nice. The HMS Hector is going to no-balls it, and it's actually going to sail directly into the Centrisimo, or Trinidad, sorry. A few of the front guns, the chase cannons, are hitting the line. They're definitely going to struggle. But yeah, again, I'm pretty much doing what I wanted to do, you know, by saying I wanted to plan on going south and then east. I just went west and then north and then east, which was kind of just the opposite of the way I think I should have done it. So we're going to be turning in now, because this just slowed me up so much because of the way the wind was focusing. So we're going to get some pretty close-up action here. I do take a broadside, but this is on the fresh part of my broadside, so it's not too bad, I don't think. We are losing some guns on the right side, but this other part of my ship has barely been hit. So we are going to be hitting the St. Trinidad very, very soon. And the ship behind it is also very, very low. You can see it's low in the water. Oh, beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. We do then receive a broadside again, but the HMS Hector is just going to continue to make his way round, which I think is quite good. And then obviously we'll be able to get on this other 122 gun ship of the line as the rest of my ships do turn round. You know, we're pretty much constantly shooting, which I definitely prided myself on doing in this battle. You can just see the pain that is going in on this ship down here. It really is struggling. We can also see that the HMS Hector is continuing to hammer these other Spanish ships. A lot of my smaller British ships have gone down, but a lot of my bigger English ships, a lot of my smaller English ships have gone down, but a lot of my bigger English ships are still remaining. And again, that's kind of what I did try and focus on doing, as this 122 gun ship of the line has just been getting hammered. It really has. So, look at the decks of this. There's just literally nothing protecting this ship. And I imagine it is taking on a lot of water right now and will be sinking very, very soon. The St. Trinidad is also starting to receive fire from the HMS Vengeance, as I think, again, I'm going to turn northwards against the wind, and as I push around here and then turn westwards, which I think is just, again, a really bad idea. I should have simply just turned southwards and then met round here as the St. Trinidad does move over. You can see the St. Trinidad is down to 46 guns. I can't imagine how many guns are actually left on this far left side. So you can see the battle is definitely in my favor right now. Only a few Spanish ships left remaining, and we'll get a few more broadsides and then probably cut to the end, because the battle is pretty much over. I would want to see the HMS Resistance get a final shot off, as a few of the back cannons do hit the line. So let's get a nice little view of this. We'll zoom out a little bit as the HMS Resistance does come in. So cool. A few shots going off first. I imagine the rest of the ship. There we go. There we go. And they return as well. Beautiful. So yeah, guys, if you're looking forward to more Darthmod naval battles, do let me know in the comments. So I think that's pretty much the battle now. We'll speed it up just as it continues on. Yeah, again, you can see I'm moving northwards against the wind. Kind of stupid. I guess it's not too bad because I've got a very, very small turning circle. And all this time, oh my god, this ship right here is getting just clarted right now. I don't know the word. I was going to say hammered and then smashed, but I've said them words so many times during this replay. I have definitely noticed that. More of the Spanish ships getting hit and we're actually routing from the field. And I think the St. Trinidad is going to be the last ship remaining. It just has no cannons left. It's lost 100 of its cannons. You can see the rest of my ships are now turning round against the wind. Then we quickly do move into the wind itself. This is much harder to do on the Darthmod version of naval battles. And there you go, victory is mine. I managed to destroy, the Spanish lost 10 ships, only one of them did remain, and then I managed to also lose only 3 of my ships, and they were mainly the smaller ships, so nothing too bad whatsoever. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you do, please do drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.